Okay, Shalom Akim, Kahalayim La Yahabashim Yashabashar Hakudash, double on Instagrams and apostles. Thadi Yashar for the strength in order to make this video, and Yaratazar you also find it edifying and exhorting as well. Edifying meaning to build up, and exhorting meaning to encourage. And as I named the video, Jake having an evil eye, and I'll probably put something else like Babylon poking, because they're meddling with Jake matters right now. Over there in Nigeria, they got their, you got the Jake, who's really having the philosophies, well, subscribing to the philosophies of the stone. You realize why I say that, because I'm gonna bring out a precept on that. Deuteronomy 4, where it will be scattered to serve wood and stone. Jake who subscribes to stone, and then you got Jake who subscribes to the wood. Christianity versus Islam. They're having their conflicts over there right now currently. So as I'm play this video, then I'm gonna bring out some precepts. Yeah, but you know what? Since I mentioned it, let me get that one out. Then I'm gonna get the rest. After the video. Let's get the precept first. Alright, this is Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 27. It says, "And the Lord Yahweh shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yashar shall lead you." So of course that's part of the, the punishments for us to be scattered across the heathen nations, man. It says there in verse 28, "And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell." So of course would also be put in a state of delusion where we'll be serving idols, which we would think to be actual powers, actual gods. But we know in the scriptures, there's no other power than the gods of the nations are idols. That's what I was trying to quote there. It's in let me get this one quickly. Then we're going to get to the video. Alright, so I'll start from, let me highlight this as well. This is 1 Chronicles 16 and verse 25. "For great is the Lord Yahweh, and greatly to be praised. He also is to be feared above all gods, for all the gods of the people," it's talking about the heathen nations, "are idols, but the Lord Yahweh made the heavens." So of course all credit goes on to the Most High Yahweh, man. So that's really the point there. Every other power, so-called power of the heathens, are actually idols, which means they have no breath in them. If you get into Wisdom of Solomon 14, 15, and I think even chapter 16, it makes a reference to the idols having no breath. Right, so that's the point right there, man, because Mosai gave the blueprint. Really, if you were going to get technical or go deeper, that would go into the whole of Genesis 1 anyways. But the point is, the Mosai, all credit goes to Yahweh. So yeah, as it says in verse 26, "For all the gods of the people are idols, but Yahweh made the heavens." And let's get back to the video. So as the video is named here, the US launches, so United States of America launches strikes against Islamic State in Nigeria. So I'm gonna just play it. Just get to it.
United States forces have launched missile strikes against the Islamic State group in northwest Nigeria. US Africa Command said they were carried out in coordination with the Nigerian authorities and killed what it called multiple IS terrorists in Sokoto State. Nigeria says it was involved in the planning of the operation, and the US military posted a video showing a missile being launched from a naval vessel. On social media, President Trump described the Islamic State group as terrorist scum and accused the group of targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians. While speaking to the BBC World Service, the Nigerian foreign minister defended the military action.
What I can confirm is a joint operation between Nigeria and the US that has targeted terrorists. It has nothing to do with a particular religion. It is, as far as we're concerned, targeting terrorists that have been attacking Nigerians, period. So it has nothing to do with one religion or another.
I mean, yeah, he says that, but despite that, the incentives behind the actions is related to, religions, man, people's way of thinking, aka ideologies, which are, again, based on their beliefs in these religions. Again, as I read in Deuteronomy 4, verse 27 to 28, about really verse 28, thou shalt serve wood and stone, man. Let me get that again, and then I'll get to the video. So Deuteronomy 4 verse 28, which is the key one, says, and there ye shall serve gods. These are idols, by the way, as we read here in 1 Chronicles 6 and verse 26. For all the gods of the people are idols, but the Lord Yahweh made the heavens. Deuteronomy 4 and verse 27, actually verse 28 again, it says, and there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Wood really representing Christianity, and a stone being symbolic of Islam, which are the two dominant religions, which really have taken Jake's heads, man. In other words, they're more prominent in the way of thinking for majority of Israelites, these so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. It says, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. They have no life. And it's back to the video.
With one religion or another. And nor does it have anything to do with Christmas. It could be any other day. It is to do with attacking terrorists.
Which, of course, that's happened a few days ago. Because right now it's the 27th, of December 2025. That I'm recording this video. And of course, really it's really each year, bro's been making videos on it, but it's rooted in a pagan holiday. If you wanna research something, research Saturnalia, and you see the links inside of it. But nevertheless, so-called Christians, they celebrate it in ignorance, of course, not knowing the origins. But that could easily be part of the incentives as well for what's it called? It pretty much for the conflict as well, for them to send stats, which really it was done by the US to the northern state of Nigeria, which is where the Muslims are predominantly.
That have been killing Nigerians.
Well, our reporter in Lagos, Magwachi Okafor, is following developments.
The US has confirmed, even the Nigerian government has confirmed, a joint attack in the northwest part of Nigeria, specifically Sokoto State. Now, over the years, for more than a decade, Nigeria has been battling insurgencies, specifically from armed groups and jihadist groups.
So you could liken it as a little civil war. In fact, Yaratazar, let me search the definition of insurgency. So the definition of insurgency says the quality or circumstance of being rebellious, an instance of rebellion and insurgence. So of course, you could liken it as the T groups, even though it was already mentioned in the video. The T groups rebelling against the government, man, over there in Nigeria. Which really, this thing, this conflict between the T groups with their ideology in Islam, and then you got the Christians as well. You can liken it as Jake onto Jake, man. That's why I named this video Jake having an evil eye. In fact, let me get that precept, a few more, and then we'll get back to the video, because it could easily be Jake subscribing to their idols, and then that's what's causing these well, as I said before, a little civil war going on there, which really is one-sided anyways, because you've got the Muslims over there invading or killing the Christians. So let me get this precept. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 54. It says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. And this is in the NLT on the right side, Deuteronomy 28 and 54. The most tender-hearted man among you will have no compassion for his own brother, his beloved wife, and his surviving children. So, of course, that's part of the curses as well. It's really from verse 15 onwards. That's what's listed, from verse 1 to about verse 14. Those are the blessings upon Israel if you were to take heed to the commandments of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. But of course, considering our disobedience, these are all the curses that Jacob had to go through, that Israelites had to go through. So this is one of them. It says, the key phrase here says in the KJV, his eye shall be evil toward his brother. So of course, over there in Nigeria, you could easily see it as Jake versus Jake, where you got the Jakes who subscribe to Islam. They're in their vain philosophy, their vain way of thinking, their vain being worthless ideology, and then they're incentivized, they're motivated to actually kill, Jakes who subscribe to Christianity, which either way they're both wrong anyway. So that's why I kept saying vain, because it's a worthless fight, it's a worthless cause that these T groups are having. Whether Jake be among them over there, which there are Jakes amongst over there who subscribe to that philosophy, and also you got Jakes on the other side as well, but more so south side, of whom are subscribing to Christianity, which again, it's a worthless fight, man. It's like two children trying to fight over a toy. That's pretty much what it's like, man. Or it's one-sided, as I said before. Just those who subscribe to Islam attacking those who subscribe to Christianity. But that can easily provoke a civil war as well. I said it's a minor civil war, but as the man said within the video, it's an insurgency, which is just a rebellion, against those who have opposing philosophies, specifically Christians over there, because those are the two main ideologies there, ways of thinking: Christianity and Islam over there in Nigeria, man. As I said, predominantly. All right, back to the video.
Now, over the years, for more than a decade, Nigeria has been battling insurgencies, specifically from armed groups and jihadist groups. In November, the US president...
Remember, of course, Boko Haram was also a hot one back in the day as well, man. Probably a decade ago. Of course, off and on. But, they're one of those groups as well.
Did say that there was potential that he was going to go in guns a-blazing and carry out strikes potentially in Nigeria. But now we have seen this happen. While the US president did say that this was an attack on Islamists, what he called Islamic terrorists, targeting particularly Christians, the Nigerian foreign minister has sort of also said that this is more on just what he has called attack on terrorists, because according to the government, these attacks have not just targeted Christians, but they've also impacted Muslims also. Sokoto, where this happened, is a state seen to have more Muslim majority. In fact, the Nigerian Sultan, that's sort of the spiritual head of Muslims in the country, resides there, and that's where that's sort of the background of what has happened. But many people see this, some people from conversations we're seeing see this as a welcomed partnerships, as Nigeria has really been trying to clamp down on insurgency for years now.
See, even Jake be struggling to handle their own matters, man. Esau got to come in to flipping straighten them out, even just to have your own peace in the temporary land that you've been given, because of course, Southern tribe is predominantly Southern tribe over there in Nigeria. Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Even within that as well, you still gotta have your enemy to straighten things out for you. But anyways, let me get a precept on that. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. That includes peace, believe it or not, because this day and age as well. Just because Jake has their own land, Benjamin got, the Caribbeans, those islands there, Trinidad and whatnot. You got Judah as well, Ghana, Nigeria, Gambia, some other, Western side countries as well. And despite those temporary lands, Jake still has trouble there, man. And it's not just southern tribes, northern tribe as well. They got their problems with their so-called leaders too. So it says, in want of all things, man. So even peace being a desire, Esau has to be the one to straighten it out. Which is part of the curses. And it says, and he shall put a yoke, which the peace ain't even peace anyways, man. It's just, it's how can I say this? Is like a cunning way to thin out Jake over there as well. So it's like a cunning way. Yaratazar, you get what I mean though, because Esau's the one who's going there. He's sending missiles to the T groups, which of course they could easily be Hamites and Jakes mixed amongst them. Jake unfortunately having his mind bugged out by that. And really, that's just thinning out Jake anyways, man, despite that. But nevertheless, let's read this. It says, and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So that's really the real intention of Esau Edom, believe it or not. Right, so, and of course, Jake don't have any reasoning to realize that, this is their enemy, man. Remember, the whole head is sick. Let's get that. Isaiah 1 of us, let me get to 5 first. Start from 5. So Isaiah 1 of verse 5, why should ye be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick. The whole heart is faint. And that's talking about the state of Israelites, right now, man, because we ain't serving, well, as a whole, apart from really the remnant of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the remnant of Israel, which are the elect. They're the ones who actually seek to serve Yahweh Yahushua. But anyways, nevertheless, the rest of the nation, the 2/3 and the wicked Israelites are across the world, they're really in a sick state of mind. That says verse 6, from the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness, there's no healthiness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores, they have not been closed, which means they haven't been healed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. So it means it's a raw sore that they have there, man. When a wound is fresh, that's when it's most painful, when you poke at it as well. So verse 7, it says, your country is desolate. It's quite fitting considering, Nigeria. If Esau keeps going towards this route, it's going to be looking at the Middle East, especially the north side of Nigeria. But anyways, Isaiah 1 and 7, your country is desolate, which really this is talking about the actual land of Israel. It says your cities are burned with fire. Your land, strangers. Well, yeah, exactly. It says your land, strangers. What does it say? Your land, strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. That's what Amalek is really over there, man. Corrupted the flipping land, corrupted the place. So really, Israel just needs Yahushua to come back, man. Whether they realize it or not, for those of us in this truth, we're grateful that Yahushua has given us, this opportunity to actually know and be aware that, okay, we're in a sick state, we've been disobedient, and we really need Yahweh Shem Yahushua, to set things straight for us, man. Not Esau, Edom. He's our enemy. So, because Esau ain't gonna handle it with wisdom, man. Let me get this. So Proverbs 16, verse 20. This is Proverbs 16 and 20. He that handleth a matter wisely shall find good, and whoso trusteth in the Lord Yahweh, happy is he. Of course, our enemy Esau Edom won't handle the matter of insurgency in Nigeria wisely. Remember, he's here to steal, kill, and destroy, man. That's his nature. Let me get that one too. Steal, kill, and destroy. John 10 and 10, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. And that's the nature of Esau Edom. I am come that they might have life, those who obey Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and that which is the elect, and that they might have it more abundantly. So of course Jake is not in a state to know that they're not supposed to trust Esau Edom. It's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, they'll be in their right minds in the kingdom. All right. Let's see. Let me get this as well, because you got the major wars over there. Some spike ups as well, like the India versus Pakistan, Ukraine, and Russia. Of course, that's been ongoing from about 2022. China and Taiwan as well. There's certain ones that be lingering in the background as well. Of course, China and Taiwan is one of them. But also this can lead to a literal civil war as well, man, based on ideologies over there in Nigeria. All right, let's see this. Matthew 24. Let's check this one. All right, so this is Matthew 24 and verse 6. Yahushua's words, that's why it's highlighted in red, or really in red letters. So Matthew 24 and verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So these are signs that look very, very close to that MOTB as well, man. Which is that major prophecy. But focusing on the point of this video, though, all these insurgencies, especially in Nigeria, they could easily lead to a literal civil war, man. Of course, America, they're already heading there anyways. Esau versus Jake. Right, Yaratas, I'm going to play the rest of the news clip, and then, we'll just end it off there.
On insurgency for years now.
Yeah, just talk us through a little bit more of that background. I suppose some of the history that's led up to this.
Well, for more than 10 years, we have seen groups, jihadist groups like Boko Haram, Islamic State, West Africa Province, popularly known as ISWAP, and other groups that have been cropping up, launching attacks on people in schools, in churches, in mosques. In fact, just a couple of days ago, there was what was said to be a suicide bomb attack in a mosque. While no group has claimed responsibility for it, this sort of situation isn't entirely uncommon in Borno State, which is where this mosque attack happened. So for more than a decade, Nigeria has been battling this, and it's been from groups that are trying to sort of install their ideology in the region, but the Nigerian military has been pushing back, and there seems to be sort of another rise of these attacks in recent years, which is potentially why I guess the US government is now collaborating with the Nigerian government.
Yeah, man, but point is proven, man. Point is proven. Jake can't handle their case over there. Esau's coming in, infiltrating, and trying to sort things out. But we know, there's a deeper plan. Anyways, considering Esau's nature to steal, kill, and destroy, man. So, anyways, Yaratazar, this video has been edifying as well to help build up your knowledge on what's going on according to prophecy of the scriptures. And Shalom, Yahbashim Yashab Brakatha. Kahalayim La Yahbashim Yashab Bashim Kudash, double honest to great and apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom.